Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am doing another episode of my new series Chatting With, and I have Hannah Orenstein here as my guest.
Hi guys.
Okay, so Hannah, why don't we tell everyone a little bit about how we know each other and how we met, and then we'll get into you and all of the amazing things that you do.
Sure, yeah. So I think we first met on social media.
We did.
Mostly through Twitter, which is how I know everybody.
Hannah's really good at Twitter, by the way, and I'll link her Instagram, Twitter, everything, socials down below so you can find her.
As, yeah, I think we have like a bunch of mutual friends and a bunch of mutual like work people, because like the Hearst universe is very small, the magazine universe is very small.
Yeah.
So there's like 10 people in magazines. So.
I know, if you like put them all together in little clumps, I feel like it adds up to about 10 people.
Yeah. So yeah, and then we got drinks in the East Village a couple months ago, and she showed up in this like most fantastic like yellow plaid outfit. It was very clueless.
Oh my god, my pants! Yeah, my yellow pants!
It was very clueless. It was perfect. It was beautiful.
Let's talk about you. When did you first move to New York, and what were you doing when you first came here?
So I came for school. I went to NYU. It was the only school I applied to. It's the only city I've ever really wanted to live in. So yeah, I've been here now almost 7 years. And so I graduated school. I was working as a matchmaker for a while. I started writing my book, which is over here. It's Playing with Matches by Hannah Orenstein, out June 26th. Yeah, and then I started working at 17.com, and now I'm the dating editor at Elite Daily. So it's been a journey, but it's a lot of fun. Okay,
so much to unpack here, and I'm gonna start with something that you didn't just talk about, but that I know we both have a very vested mutual interest in. So one of the first articles that I ever read that Hannah wrote was on 17, and it was all about like how Gossip Girl influenced her life. And if you don't mind talking a little bit about that, I feel like my audience would really enjoy it.
Sure, yeah. No, I love Gossip Girl, obviously.
I was watching it actually moments before you walked in.
Which episode?
I've rewatched so many times, and I'm on season 6 now.
Okay.
And then I'm making my boyfriend watch it, and he's in season 2, so I get confused. But I'm in my rewatch of season 6.
Okay, fair, good.
Yeah.
So I love Gossip Girl like a lot. And when I was in high school, I would dress up like Gossip Girl every day. Like my friend and I would come in, and like I would dress like Blair, and she would dress like Serena, and be like, great headbands, guys. That sounds so nerdy, but like genuinely when you're living in the suburbs and you're 16 years old, like putting on a headband, it suddenly makes you like high fashion, and you're like, I feel special and cool and ready to move to the city.
That was my college essay, actually. It was about headbands, and like because I wore headbands because of Blair and all of them, and I wrote about like how each headband reminded me of like a significant moment in my life, sort of.
So yeah, so I wrote this essay for 17.com. Right after I graduated college, I was a freelancer. I hadn't gotten a job there yet, and I just sort of pitched this essay like called I Base My Life Off of Gossip Girl and I'm Not Sorry. And my friend made fun of me so much. She was like, you can't write that, that's so dumb. And then it went viral, and the Daily Mail made fun of me, and it was syndicated everywhere.
Wait, I did not know that.
Yeah, and like I would get hundreds and hundreds of messages from like 14-year-old girls in Croatia being like, you're the real Blair Waldorf. And it's like, I'm eating ramen. Like, I'm not. But yeah, it went viral, and that's how I got my job at 17. They were like, oh, like you can actually write, like you should stay. One of the last pieces I ever wrote for 17 before I left was I dressed like Gossip Girl, dressed like Blair for a week in honor of the 10th anniversary of the show. Yeah. And I got the white Mark by Marc Jacobs dress on eBay, and like
from The White Party, season 2, episode 2.
3 words.
Is that right?
Yeah. Season 2, episode
1.
2.
No.
Season 2, episode 2.
Oh yeah.
And it's 3 words, 8 letters, say it and I'm yours. And Chuck doesn't say it. It's heartbreaking.
I would love if you could talk a little bit about your time at 17, like what was your role there, and what was kind of your day-to-day, and what did you enjoy the most about it?
Sure. So I started off as a full-time freelance writer, so I didn't really have a beat. They said you can write about anything you want. At the time, one person, Kelsey, our friend Kelsey.
Kelsey, shout out!
Hey! Was doing fashion and beauty. Our friend Noelle DeVoe, was doing celebrity stuff. She's moving over to Elite Daily. Hey!
Oh, how fun.
Yeah.
Friends everywhere.
Friends everywhere. So I did a lot of celeb stuff because that was sort of our bread and butter, but I did a lot of health. I did all of our sex ed stuff. I did all of our relationship content. I did viral news, talking to real teen girls.
Cool. And then how did you end up moving from 17 over to Elite Daily?
Sure, so it's sort of a roundabout way. So the summer between my junior and senior year of college, I started working as a matchmaker for a dating service. And I loved that so much. I stayed on actually when I was still in college. So I wound up working while I was in school, and I loved working as a matchmaker. But it's like the most exhausting job on the planet. Like, no disrespect to like firefighters and doctors and nurses. Like, of course that is the most exhausting, but like it's a really hard job. And so I knew that I loved working in the dating industry. And I was writing this book about dating and matchmaking, and I had been doing all this sex ed content at 17, and I said, you know, there has to be a way to combine all of these things that I'm really passionate about. And this job opened up for a dating editor, and I was like, I love that, it's perfect. And during the interview, they were like, yeah, like we originally thought it'd be just dating editor, but like now we want it to be just a focus on dating apps. And like, that's literally what I spend like all my time doing. I mean, not anymore because I'm in a relationship, but I met my boyfriend while swiping at work. So like, I don't know.
Oh my God, yeah. That's amazing.
So yeah, I mean, it's so much fun. I get to edit stories about dating apps, relationships, being single, sexuality, sex. It's a lot of fun. One story that I loved editing was, I mean, there's so many, but one particular one was by my writer, Alana Rubin, who is wonderful and hysterically funny. And she did an exploration in 3 states of fishmen on Tinder, like whose main profile pictures are just them holding up like massive, like, so she traveled to 3 states investigating the fishmen.
Oh my God, that's awesome. What was the conclusion?
They love to fish, and they are proud of, like, they take photos because they're proud of the fish, but a lot of these guys just don't take that many other photos, so that's what they have to use. And they're like, I'm proud of this, I look good, I'm on a boat holding a big fish. Let's do it.
So interesting. Cool. So in the midst of working at 17 and being in college and working as a matchmaker and your job at Elite Daily, how did you have time to write this book? This started a while ago, correct?
Yeah, so I was unemployed for 2 months after graduation. I was freelancing, I was looking for a job, desperately looking for a job, but you can't do that 24 hours a day. So I knew that I wanted to turn this short story that I had worked on in college into a novel. I had taken a fiction writing class my last semester, and I had written this short story about a matchmaker, and of course it was inspired by my own experiences working as a matchmaker. And I had all this time, so I was like, I'm just gonna see if I can do it. I set a deadline of Halloween, and I churned out a first draft. And once you get that far into it, you're like, oh, like maybe this could be a real thing. It felt like such a long shot, but yeah, I couldn't let it go. So then I started pitching it to agents and then editors, and now it comes out soon.
It's so exciting. Oh my God. So my dad actually wrote a book years ago, and he interviewed lots of like classical guitarists and like their practice and everything, and he was doing all these interviews and stuff. And I remember he was pitching to a bunch of places and was getting rejected and trying to figure out the right thing. So what was that process like for you, and how did you finally end up with the publisher that you're with?
I mean, it's really, really, really hard and discouraging to get rejected. You know, even though
any writer out there will know this.
Yeah, I mean, I got so many rejections. I kept them all saved in a Google Doc, color-coded, with all their mean comments. A lot of them were really nice rejections, but like still getting rejected isn't fun. I will say that the rejection, you know, like just know that every single writer goes through it, or every single creative person, or even if you're not creative, if you're in business or medicine or anything like that, you're going to get rejected. But you just have to focus on what you're doing and, you know, maybe work on a second project. I started working on a second project to sort of help take my mind off of everything that was going on. And I really thought the book wasn't going to sell. I like fully committed to this other project, and then I got this life-changing phone call. So actually, I found out before that. My friend got really drunk at a party, and he's roommates with a girl who works with my publisher.
Yes.
And he was like, "Oh my God, they're so excited about your book!" And I was like, "What?"
That's the best when you find out like that.
Yeah, and then like 3 days later, I get the like official phone call.
Oh my God, I love that. I need to know from your personal matchmaking experience, what is the craziest like story that you have?
Oh my God, I had one client who was so worldly and sophisticated and chic, and she was kind of a socialite, and I knew that she was rumored to be having an affair with a very A-list musician, and I knew that she only dated like very, very, very A-list DJs, which is a thing that people
Everyone
can do.
has a type.
Everybody has a type. I was like sweating bullets. I was like, how do I find an A-list DJ? Like, and also like I was nobody. I was 21 years old. I had never really like had a real job before. All my clients wanted to get married. I'd never been married before. I did not know how to do that. None of them knew how old I was because I didn't want them to totally discredit me. So like I was anxious and sweating all the time that entire the entire time I was working as a matchmaker. But I set out to find a DJ. I found Anna Wintour's favorite DJ, who used to be a really hot male model. Oh my gosh. Super hot. Like if you go to his website, I can't tell you his name, but it's just like abs, like dripping abs and sweat, and like just, you know, he's a hot man. And I sent them out for drinks. This really cute cocktail place that just opened up, like 5 stars. Everybody was raving about it. 'Cause, like, you want to send them out to cool places. And they went up there. They got chicken wings delivered to her really like luxurious rooftop. They were like stargazing. They made out under the stars. She got like touch his abs.
Good for her.
Good for her. And then I called her the next day and I was like, so like, how did it go? And she was like, well, like I can't see him again. I was like, why? Like that sounds perfect. And she was like, well, his favorite book is the Da Vinci Code. So like,
oh no.
And she was like such a snob about it. And she was like, I can't date a guy who loves the Da Vinci Code unironically.
Oh my god.
So that was the end of it.
I kind of feel like I know the answer to this, but you really, it sounds like you believe in matchmaking, right?
To a certain extent. I think that if you are really exhausted by the dating scene, you're burnt out, you don't like using dating apps, or you're too high profile to be on the apps, which is what a lot of our clients were, sure, yeah, matchmaking is a really great option if you have the means to do it, because it's not cheap. That said, I think that a lot of people would go into matchmaking thinking, oh, you get a matchmaker, you're gonna get married, like they're just gonna like bam, 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 and that's not how it works. It's a lot of self-discovery, a lot of like really being vulnerable and open and trusting your matchmaker, and then also understanding that they're not wizards.
Right.
Like the perfect person for you is not exactly who you think it is. It's going to be somebody totally different.
That's very true.
They're not going to have 100 out of 100 items on your perfect person checklist, but they could be even better in a way that you haven't even thought of yet. So
yeah, that's so cool. And do you find that when people come into like a matchmaking service, just from your experience, are people more interested in kind of like the physical side of a person, like what they want physically from someone, or what they want as far as like personality wise?
It's a good question. Not to be completely stereotypical, but men were a lot more specific about physical traits than women were. Men always said they wanted somebody who looked like Scarlett Johansson.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I would always ask, like, who's
a lot of pressure.
I know. I was always saying, like, who is your celebrity crush? Like, if I could, like, you know, just, like, understand somebody's physical type.
Since you've been in New York for so long now, I'm kind of just curious, kind of off the topic of career and everything, like, what are some of your favorite places in New York, or things to do, or restaurants? Like, I feel like people want to know people's, like, genuine local New York City recommendations. Yeah. So do you have any good ones to offer up?
Yeah, sure. I mean, so I lived downtown for 6 years, and I really miss it. But I loved sunbathing in Washington Square Park, like, especially when the jazz guy is playing, and, like, it's a perfect blue sky. There's nothing better than that. For handmade Italian pasta that will blow your mind for like $9, go to San Marzano on 2nd Avenue.
I will go there.
And the sangria is really good. And then my favorite that's like all over the book, because this is where me and my friends would go all the time in college, and so of course my characters go there all the time, is Hotel Tortuga on 14th Street between 2nd and 3rd. And it's just like this little hole-in-the-wall Mexican place. There's nothing special or fancy about it at all, but it's so good. And just go there and sit for like 7 hours and talk to your friends.
What's next for you? What can people expect coming up after Playing with Matches?
Sure. So for Playing with Matches, that's obviously my biggest focus right now, and we have a ton of really fun events coming up. So there's going to be a launch party in Greenpoint June 28th. There's another launch party in Manhattan on the Upper West Side on, let me see, July 11th. Then we're going to Cambridge, Massachusetts later in July, and then I just want to spend the rest of the summer relaxing with my friends and family.
And that just about wraps everything up. Thank you so much for coming on this episode, and can you really quickly tell everyone where they can find you? I will link socials and all of that below, but just so they can hear it from you.
So I am at Hannah Orens on Twitter and Instagram, and you can find my book on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. It's linked in my Instagram bio, so yeah, and then HannahOrenstein.com.
Well, thank you all again so much for watching this video, and thank you, Hannah, for coming to Brooklyn and talking to me and telling everyone all about yourself. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you don't already. I put out a new video every week. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up down below so I know to keep making more videos like this for all of you. As always, if you have any suggestions or anything you want to see, just leave me a note in the comments and I'll be sure to get back to you. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye!